phony.
And a phony at the mic.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
The Doctor of Discernment is now online.
You know, much like my show, in that it's a local reaction to things that are happening on a federal level.
Dispensing a daily dose of common sense. No prescription required.
Wow, do I have a boatload of stuff for you, from the crazy to the absurd. Let's start getting into it because, I mean, it is bizarro world out there. And I say, if it's obvious to me, should be obvious to everyone. Oh, wow. Who could have seen this coming?
This is the fourth hour with Greg Belfrage.
Hold on to your butts.
Broadcasting from my basement bunker beneath KELO Radio. Welcome to the fourth hour of the Greg Belfrage Show. It's great to have you along. Savannah Guthrie, this is just heartbreaking stuff. Savannah Guthrie posted an Instagram video this morning. She's announced a reward of up to $1 million for the recovery of her mother. And so they are also donating, this is the family, the Guthrie family, donating $500,000 to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. And Guthrie in this new video says, please keep praying without ceasing. We still believe in a miracle. We still believe that she can come home. Hope begets hope. As my sister says, we are blowing on the embers of hope. So she also acknowledged that, you know, she said, we know she may be lost. She may already be gone. She may have already be gone home to the Lord that she loves, is dancing in heaven with her mom and her dad and her beloved brother Pierce and with our daddy, she said. So she urged anyone with information to call 1-800-CALL-FBI. 1-800-CALL-FBI. So this is, and you know, yeah, I don't like, again, we don't know what happened to Nancy Guthrie, but the longer this has gone on, I think the more you know, this doesn't look good. I mean, somebody was up to no good, and pray for the family. That's what I have been doing. All right, the State of the Union speech tonight. Will you be watching? I think about staying up, and then when that time rolls around, man, I'm like, oh, I just can't stay up this late. But since I would like to watch it. The president, this is an exclusive from Fox News. And they say the State of the Union address will put the economy front and center. Trump will start at 8 p.m. tonight. And so there really isn't anything here beyond what I was able to share with you this morning. Carolyn Levitt said that it will celebrate 250 glorious years of our nation's independence and excellence, highlighting incredible stories of American heroes throughout the speech, she said. In 1 year, President Trump has turned our country around from the brink of disaster, and he will rightly declare the state of our nation is strong, prosperous, and respected. I don't think there's any question about that. Levitt said the president will also talk about the many record-breaking accomplishments, tax cuts and the big beautiful bill, lowering drug prices, purchasing a home, trying to make home ownership more affordable. These are all things that the president has done and will focus on. It sounds like he'll be focusing on it even more. So there apparently will be some surprises that the president will also unveil tonight during the State of the Union speech. So the New York Post editorial board says the president in the speech tonight should boast of his triumphs this last year, which is what Carolyn Levitt says he will do. The nation should see him as the happy warrior he deserves to be, cheerful, proud, upbeat. Trump began his second term full of optimism, promising a golden age. He secured the border almost instantly, cutting the illegal migrant inflow by more than 90%, and soon close to 100%. And this is what, and the New York Post points this out, that this just blows the lid then off what Democrats have been saying for years. Oh, we got to have new laws. Oh, we got to fix our broken immigration system. Oh, this is broken. We can't do this. Trump did it. And I think we said the same thing during Trump's first term. What do you mean we don't have the tools? What do you mean we got to have more laws? With Trump is doing it. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Trump is doing it easily enough, right? You just got to do it. The laws are in place, and this is what was I think so befuddling to many of us prior to Trump was, don't tell us laws aren't on the books. You're just not enforcing them. Start enforcing the laws that are on the books. Don't come to us and say, oh, we've got to have this. Oh, it's a broken immigration system. It's not working. Reason the Democrats said it was broken because they want everybody to come in. They want some kind of system in which they can bring in all of these millions of people and change the country. So the president should focus on those things. What else did the New York Post say? Also, crime is down. Energy policies produce plummeting prices at the pump. That's something we haven't talked enough about, I think, is the price of gasoline going down. President also brokered accords then to no less than 7 other global conflicts. He did something no other president has done, destroyed Iran's nuclear facilities, setting their bomb program back years. He also directed the capture of Nicolas Maduro of Venezuela. So the president just really has got a lot of accomplishments. But I do think, and I don't want to this is where I would lean on you. How much do you look at the State of the Union speech and also want the president to be speaking about you? In other words, what are the things that can be done to improve the lives of Americans? What are those things right now? What can they be? I think, seriously, what has happened already with the border, and now the deportations, the massive deportations that we have seen out of the United States, the people who are being sent out of the country, that alone, even though it's one of those things where I can't say, well, it is incredible, it's improved my life incredibly, right, because of this or this or this. I can't say that. I mean, life in Sioux Falls is very much similar to what it has been because we're very much kind of a law and order state, and I think a law-abiding community. And so I can't say, well, I've noticed a big improvement in my own life. However, these things are incredibly important to me. This issue with the border, the mass deportations. It's one of the reasons why you hear me talking about Tom Homan so much and singing his praises, because I think that guy's an absolute rock star in the work that he is doing. The fact that, he was having to go to Minneapolis to try to calm things there. The fact that he can't live at home with his family, that he's having to move them around because things are so absolutely upside down crazy in this country. There are a lot of good things that are happening, and the left is doing nothing to help that, to facilitate that, to be a meaningful part of that. All they're doing is complaining. and belly aching. And it's absolutely incredible. So anyway, the New York Post says Americans, this is what I was saying. I haven't read this piece yet. Americans are still nervous about the economy, unsure if it's truly climbing out of the hole that Biden dug, wondering when it'll stop feeling like they're still losing ground. That's why we need this address in the end to be about them. This seriously, I had not read this in advance. I was sharing my thoughts with you. And so I love it that other conservatives are thinking the same thing. I appreciate that. When I hear that other conservatives are saying the same thing, and I'm like, wow, that's exactly what I was thinking. And you folks are a lot smarter than I am. I appreciate that. Anyway, they're saying this address needs to be about the Americans, with the president laying out a credible cause for hope that leaves no room for any of Trump's own grievances, and demands some clear, if subtle, signs that he understands the public's worries in the wake of scenes like the chaos in Minneapolis. One good way to deliver that is to repeat his longstanding support for legal immigration. I think many of us have done that. How many times have you heard me say it? I welcome people who want to play by the rules and want to become an American citizen. I absolutely, I want them to, all of our families, many of us, we're not originally from the United States. My family came initially from Scotland through England into the United States. That's the route that my family took. So, and we've been here since about the time of the Civil War. That is when my great-great-grandfather came to the United States. And so that's the story of, many American families that our families began elsewhere and then immigrated to the United States. And I want to see other families sharing that. I have had a wonderful life in the United States. I just feel blessed. I thank God all of the time for putting me in the time that we live in the place that I'm in. I'm just so grateful for the opportunity, for our lives. And so when it comes to sharing that with others, please, if you want to come into the country and you want to share the American experience, and you want to be a proud American, and you want to love our country, I welcome those people. And so the New York Post is saying they hope the president does the same thing in the State of the Union address coming up tonight. Also, there was Breitbart's got a piece, this business inflation expectations falling to 1.93% in February, matching the average level during Trump's first term. So now we are seeing then the inflation in business is falling to a level prior to Joe Biden. So the ache, that was caused by the Biden administration, now we're seeing business inflation levels falling back to what they were at the end of Trump's first term, which I think is a great piece of good news this morning. Also, the Air Force, the president has rebranded Air Force One. Have you seen this? With a red, white, and blue design. So the U.S. Air Force is repainting Air Force One and other aircraft in the executive fleet with the president's preferred color, red, white, and dark blue. This is the first rebranding in more than 60 years. Marks a shift from the John F. Kennedy era paint scheme. So the Air Force is implementing a new paint scheme requirement, red, white, and dark blue for Air Force One and the other executive planes. So I wanted to share that with you also this morning. So Senator Mike Lee, as we have talked about the SAVE Act and voter ID and having to show your ID when you go to vote and when you go to register to vote, Mike Lee is responding. There was a piece by the Heritage Foundation, and I'll get into it in a moment. And the Heritage Foundation said it's not even close. A new poll conducted by Heritage Action in 5 battleground states found that an overwhelming majority of Americans support requiring proof of U.S. citizenship to register to vote in federal elections. So I'll come back to that in a moment. And Senator Mike Lee says both proof of citizenship and ID to vote are wildly popular across the nation among both Democrats and Republicans, especially in battleground states. The Senate has no reason not to deliver the Save America Act to President Trump's desk. I absolutely, there are more and more folks, excuse me. Let me mute my microphone here for just a moment. I am seeing on X, there are more and more people posting along the lines, photos of Senator Thune, pass SAVE Act or vacate Thune. And I'm seeing that more and more. Cato Institute. I'm scrolling. I wanted to scroll to see if there was anything else here on X that would catch my eye. So the Heritage Foundation, there's a piece of a Daily Wire. What battleground voters really think about election integrity. A new poll conducted in 5 battleground states finds majority support for requiring proof of citizenship to register to vote in federal elections. So let's see what this, now again, this would be, they polled voters, both, Republican, Democrat, and Independent. They polled all of them in Alaska, Georgia, Maine, Ohio, and North Carolina. 69% of likely voters in Alaska and Georgia support requiring proof of U.S. citizenship to register to vote. 71% in Ohio, 68% in North Carolina, 65% in Maine. These are people in battleground states who overwhelmingly support the idea that you have to show an ID when you go to register to vote and when you go to actually go to the polling place to vote. When respondents were told the Save America Act would require proof of citizenship and a valid ID to vote, support remained above 60% in all 5 states, 67% in North Carolina, 65% in Georgia, 64% in Alaska, 63% in Maine, 62% in Ohio. Opposition was highest in Maine. But again, among there are more people who get it, than don't. So the folks at Heritage Action said the poll shows, people support this. The electorate is not divided. More than 70% of likely voters oppose non-citizen voting. So you ask the American electorate, hey, what do you think about non-citizens voting in your elections? And overwhelmingly, they reject it. And it's why America needs the Save America Act. We have got to get it done. I don't know what's going on with Senator Thune and what's happening there. It's really kind of disturbing. I'm going to leave it there for today. If you are not a follower of mine on YouTube, I want to ask you please to consider becoming a subscriber to the Greg Belfrage Show. We're up to 585 subscribers. So please, need your help. Would love to have you on board and reacting and, hitting the like button, sharing it with other like-minded folks. It all makes a difference, gang. And I really appreciate it. So that's it for today. You made it to the end of the video, so you are part of my gallery of champions. Special salute for the Bunker Brigade. Those are the folks on YouTube each and every day, and I appreciate all of you. So until tomorrow, my friend, I'm underground and gone.